Welcome everyone to the Boxing Breakdown podcast with me and my co-host Joe Willett. So, we'll get into the questions. We did a little Q&A and we're just going to talk about what the questions were asked. So, we'll go from the top and we'll work our way down. First question is, who's your favourite up-and-coming boxer? I'll start with you, Joe. We always go to Joe first for his opinion. Go on.
Akoli.
Lawrence Akoli, 15-0, 28.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not young, but he's fighting for a world title soon. He's a good young cruiserweight, and he's so good to watch. I can't remember what card he fought on, but Joe, you watched him, didn't you? And you thought he was very good.
Sorry, I switched off. Yeah, what?
I was saying, I told you about him on that card, and you watched him, and you thought he was very entertaining and very impressive.
Oh, yeah, on the AJ fight.
Was it the Age? Oh yeah, it was the parallel fight, you're right. It's a co-main event. So what did you think of him when you watched him?
He was just excellent, wasn't he? He was mint.
He was very, very impressive. I am a big admirer of him. He's a good fighter. Anyway, second question. The most asked question we got. Joshua and Fury, and why? We'll go to you, Joe.
You know, the thing with this, right? I want to make this clear before I get into it. I do think they're both great fighters.
Mhm.
And I don't think you can be 100% about either.
Mhm.
Either or.
Mhm.
But for me, if you look at it, Fury's, I'd say, technically better. I'm going, I think I was trying to break it down. The better jab, I'd probably say Fury, when he's got the reach as well.
Mhm.
Fury's, Joshua's got the deadly uppercut. I'm waffling on that. I just think, for me, I'm about 70-30 to Fury. I think he's the better boxer. I don't know. You said to me before you think Fury's the better inside fighter, haven't you?
Yeah, I think Joshua can't take being roughed up too much. I think Fury can fight either way. I think Joshua can only. I know he can try and box, but it's not very much boxing. I think Fury's got the jab. I think Joshua's got a bit more power. But Joshua always fighting smaller people than him, except Klitschko, and we've seen how that went. It was literally an uppercut from the gods. It was a very nice timed one, a bit like Povetkin, but it was an uppercut from the gods. He was nearly out, and he just woof, and he finished him. So when someone taller, I think Fury with his jab, and he can go with the left hook, and he can work to the body as well, Fury. That's what's so impressive. And if he can rough him up, I think, honestly, he will murder him. But, that's if he can.
I've just seen there on Insta somewhere, I don't know where it was, and I sent it to you just there, about Eddie and AJ, about Fury's shape. For me, if they were to get in the ring, begin the match, which they're obviously not, I'd lean more towards AJ.
Yeah, because Tyson, he still trains, but he's not in 100% condition 24/7 because he lives his life. But he knows the fight's not coming around the corner in 5 minutes. He knows I don't even know if it'll be this year. I don't know about you, Joe, but I can't see it until maybe March, April next year.
I hope it's not March. March is an awful month.
I know, but I just don't see it being this year.
No, I don't. I think Fury needs a fight first. I don't think you can have people saying he's ducking and whatnot because he needs a fight. I say.
Exactly. We've seen what Ramos can do to some people.
I think someone a bit upright, a bit like AJ, quite tall.
I think someone like Joseph Parker would be a cracking.
Joseph's getting his thing on with Derek, isn't he? So.
Yeah, good point. But it's a tough one but he does need a warm fight, even if it's just someone to smash around the ring, just to clear off a bit of ring rust, get 6 to 12 rounds in, and just get him back onto it. But for me, I'm about 80-20 for Fury, but it could be it's heavyweight boxing. You never know. But it should be an absolute cracker. It'll be the fight of the decade for me. I can't see much being better with the names, unless we.
I think you might.
Fights.
I think it'll go one or two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will come and steamroll one, get them out of there within about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll see an actual pretty poor fight, like you're seeing Klitschko Fury, where it was poor. Fury was winning the rounds, but he wasn't.
It was nothing special. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It was more for the boxing purists.
He was more making it awkward than anything. I think you might see a bit of that.
Yeah, it'll go one or two ways, and I think you're fully correct when you say that. But for me, it's Fury. Anyway, we'll get on to the next question. Who do you think will be the best heavyweight in 5 years? Thank you for this question, Owen. You're the only person I remember who asked this question, Owen, aren't you? But who do you think will be the best heavyweight in 5 years? And you can't give me out this and say Joshua Fury, because I don't see them fighting in 5 years, to be honest.
There's a Corley, if he moves up. There's Daniel Dubois. Can't rule him off at all, despite his loss to Joyce. I wouldn't rule Joshua and Fury off fighting in 5 years. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't say they won't be. Yeah, if you had a gun to my head and said pick one, I'd go Daniel Dubois. Yeah,
he's ranked number 24 on BoxRec, and he's young. He's only 23, so he could be 28 coming into his prime. But you just don't know. Then anything can change in 5 years in boxing. It's quite a long time. 5 years ago, we were having Fury Klitschko, well, 5.5, nearly 6, but we were having Fury Klitschko, and Fury was the world champion of the world, and then we seen what happened then, and then this young lad AJ, who had all these knockouts, comes in, wins all the vacant belts, and he's the top, and now them two are fighting because he's returned, and we had Deontay Wilder in America. He didn't come out of nowhere, but no one really heard of him until everyone seen his knockout power, so now we've got Alexander Usyk. You just don't know in the heavyweight division. That's what I love about it. But Dubois is a good shout. I can see Coley moving up and becoming it and being one of the best pound for pound. I don't think Dillian White will still be fighting then.
I don't.
You can't rule out Joseph Parker. He's only 29. So yeah, it's a brilliant question which we can't give you a definitive answer, but it's a very, very good question. So we just have to give our opinion. Anyway, next up we're going to be talking about the fight going on. Oh no, we've got one more before them. We've got who's your favourite fighter of this era? You go first.
Tyson Fury.
Good answer. It's between Tyson Fury and Canelo, because Canelo is he's so impressive.
For me, the thing is,
we're not putting Mayweather in this because he hasn't had a proper fight in about 5 years, so it's not really this era.
For me, with Fury, the thing is, I like watching his fight. Well, actually, I don't. I'm a nervous wreck watching it up. He wins. Oh shit! He better win. But for me, it's the build up and everything about a Fury fight that everyone's talking about it. And
yeah, it's because Canelo's a little bit more of he fights a few times every 2 years.
Which is class.
Exactly, and he's always fighting the best. Fury's fighting the best sometimes, and he's a prize fighter. He's a proper prize fighter. So's Canelo, but Canelo can do it all year round. Fury's now and again, like, you never know when he's going to be fighting, and you're just always looking forward to the next one. That's how I feel about him personally.
Yes.
But yeah, Fury is a prize fighter. I've got another question in here, and this is, who's your favourite boxer of all time?
Favourite boxer of all time?
All time.
This is hard because it's only been this era that I've been fully. I've watched all the other eras, but not
to the extent of this one.
At the time. Do you know what I mean? So like,
I'm gonna push you for an answer, but you can't say anyone from this era.
Well, yeah, actually, I probably wouldn't have. I mean, Tyson. I just think watching him must have been, watching him live must.
What, Mike Tyson
live on the telly or whatever must have been so good. Ali as well.
He must have been so good to watch, I guess. No one from the lighter divisions?
I mean...
Not throwing Floyd in that mix? Ricky Hatton? Manny Pacquiao?
Now, here's the thing. I think watching Ali and Tyson would have been great, but being around in the Hatton era, with being part of that Hatton fan base, I think that could have been unmatchable.
Everyone like, oh, Ricky Hatton, the new great English fighter. That would have been a brilliant, I must admit.
Northern English fighter as well, which is...
From Manchester, like, everyone just, go on, Ricky. He was just unlucky. He was in the wrong era. He was in the era of two people just better than him. That was all.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, if I need an answer, I'll go, I'd have loved to experience Hatton in his era.
Fair enough, that's a really good answer. I think that's a good answer, but for me, it's Roberto Duran. The bloke he was an animal. He'd fought all the best. You'll know of him for quitting against Sugar Ray Leonard. That's the one he quit against. But the bloke went 103 to 16, and he fought well past his prime, and he was still beating some of the best. At one point, he went 72-1. Then he beat Sugar Ray Leonard, lost to Sugar Ray Leonard when he gave up in that fight. But just watching him looked so entertaining. My dad does have a signed glove of him, so just a little bit of bias there. But honestly, he would probably be my favourite of all time to be around. But Ricky Hatton in that era must have been so good. If you were from Manchester or up north, Hatton's fighting here just must have been class.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll get on to this week's boxing. So we've got a few fights. We will be spending quite a long time on these, but the first one, Florian Marku versus Ryland Charlton. We've seen the weigh-ins today. They both look in absolute cracking shape. So, thoughts on this fight?
I can't say I've watched too much of both of them. I've seen them now, because I knew we'd be talking about them, and I thought, right, I'm going to make sure I know some stuff about them.
Yeah.
For me, they're both, like you said, they're both looking absolute quality, cracking shape. There's a bit of a night difference between them, isn't there? But I don't know. It's
a little bit. Florian looks a little bit taller. He looks about, give him 2 inches taller.
I am actually seeing what they're both weighed in at.
I was watching it earlier, but I think I'm getting them mixed up with the other main event. But they're both welterweights, and I know they're around the same weight. So,
I mean, I'd like to see Charlton win.
I think he can though. Like, Florian's 7-0-1, but that draw he should have won. But for me, I think Ryan Charlton will just have a little bit too much, but he can go either way. It'll be an absolute cracker of a fight, and I think everyone would love to watch it. It's on Sky Sports, and I hope you do be tuning in for that.
Yes.
But I'm gonna say Charlton. Just about, but it can go either way, and that's when you know it's a good fight, when it's a 50-50. Right, Next one, we're going for David Avanesyan versus Josh Kelly.
Ooh, cracker.
Brilliant fight, I must admit. Go on, you can start us.
Kelly is... I mean, there's big stakes for Kelly, isn't there?
Exactly, he's fighting for the European title.
Yeah. There's quite a bit of a height difference, I'm looking.
Yeah, David Avanesyan is 5'8", and Josh Kelly is 5'10", so we've got the 2-inch height difference.
Yes.
And 3 inches in reach.
Yeah, a lot at stake for Kelly, isn't there?
But if he loses, it was kind of expected. If he wins, he's absolutely smashed it out the park.
Yeah.
He can't properly take a massive loss. That's the thing. Like, he can't really lose. All he can do is have a learning curve off it.
Yeah, interesting you say that. Yeah.
For me, David Avanesyan, 26 fights, lost 3. drawn 1. He's fought against some great fighters. He fought for the WBA regular welterweight title, but he beat Sugar Shane Mosley, which is a very big name in boxing.
Yeah, very.
He's fought for the WBC and WBA welterweight titles, and now he's defending the European welterweight title. So for me, if Kelly wins, it's a massive win and fair play to the lad. But if he doesn't, it's no loss for him really. He can't. Again, like I said, he can't really lose in this situation. So
yeah.
For me, I'm gonna back Avanesyan. So I'm gonna go Avanesyan. Late rounds, 9th round TKO for me. But if Kelly starts fast and gets proper on him, whilst Avanesyan is putting the pressure on and catches him, you never know. It could be a cracker of a fight. Thoughts, Joe?
I think it's gonna be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. So I sound like a broken record, don't I? It's hard when you have to. I'm gonna go Avanesyan. It's pronunciation. I just think
he's got a bit more experience.
Yeah, and I just think it's got. Sorry, I'm buttering everything, but you'll see a lot of this waffling on. You covered it well. I just think, obviously, if Kelly wins, fair play to him, but I just think it might be a bit early for him to go out and win a fight like this.
And I think a loss here is nothing to be ashamed of. I think he gets a loss and he can go and fight Conor Benn afterwards, and there's fights out there for them both, and it's just so much happening in the welterweight division right now. I'm a big fan of it.
Yes. You say a loss won't do much for him.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I agree, but what ways the loss to come is how much it'll do for him.
How it affects him.
Yeah, I think if he gets knocked Spark out in round 1,
it's gonna really knock him. But in his last 2 fights, Avanesyan's got them out there in the first round. In his last 4 fights, he's won by TKO. So he's one for getting them rid of, and he's got the engine on him as well.
Yes.
He fought someone, he went 9 rounds with him.
I think he's going to get rid of him. I just think he'll get rid of Kelly.
So, who are you going for, sorry, again? Avanesyan?
Yeah.
Alright, fair play. That's a fair answer. Please, everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments. But we have got loads of more episodes coming up, so I hope you still drop a sub, obviously. Sorry everyone, just had to make a little cut. It's okay, it won't happen all the time. Anyway, the big fight, as I was talking. Would you like to introduce us, Joe? Of the heavyweight
Josh Breazeale.
No. You've completely butchered that. Otto Wallin versus Dominic breazeale.
Oh. Who did I say you say?
Yeah, we're going to keep that in, because why not? We don't want to cut too much out.
People are going to be screaming because I knew it was Wallin. In fact,
oh no, he's on a stinker there. Anyway, this is what we're going to do.
I know it was Wallin so much that I messaged him as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry everybody, he's completely balled up, but it's absolutely fine. It's all here, we're all here for a good laugh. Anyway, Otto Wallin versus Dominic breazeale. The lads who lost to Wilder and Fury. Dominic breazeale, he also lost to Joshua, but it's mainly about them two we want to talk about. So, go on, give me your thoughts on Otto Wallin first.
Otto Wallin, for me, I mean, it was interesting. He came out through the week and said that he wants to be known for his big wins, not his good losses, which is, I think that's a good mindset for him to have,
It's a cracking mindset, because he doesn't want to be known for that lad who nearly beat Fury. He wants to be known as that lad who beat, I don't know, Joseph Parker or Dominic breazeale in 2 years' time and won the world championship, you know what I mean?
I think it's a perfect fight for Wallin. He's had one fight, I think, after the Tyson fight.
Travis Kaufman, I butchered that, but it's okay. We live.
Never heard, to be fair.
No, neither. I'll give you his record, everyone. He's 37 fights, 32 wins, 23 by KO, 4 losses and 1 no contest. So he's not a complete nobody. He's lost to Otto Wallin, Luis Ortiz, Amir Mansour and Tony Grano. But
yeah, I think this is the perfect fight for Wallin though. For me now, it's a big name, I think, Breazeale. It's not a Fury or Joshua or Wilder or a White.
But there's still two good heavyweights in my opinion.
Two. I believe, I might get this wrong. I believe his former heavyweight title contestant twice. I believe.
Yeah, for the WBC against Wilder, and for the IBF heavyweight title against AJ. So you're very correct when you say that.
Yeah, so he's a big name. He's a good fighter. A bit sluggish, would you say? A bit slow.
Breazeale, yeah, he can be a little bit. He's not cautious enough, I didn't think, for Wilder's fight. He came out and he tried to put the pressure on, then he dropped his hands, and he's knocked out.
For me, I think it's hard. He was against Wilder, not Otto Wallin. Or
they're not easy people to fight, are they? Let's be honest.
I mean, it wasn't even in with Tyson Fury, he's in with Deontay Wilder, who's had 20 first round knockouts. So it's tough one because he hurt Wilder.
He did catch Wilder in the first. I know he was knocked out in the first, but he did catch him once. But then Wilder just put it on him, knocked him clean out, and he didn't even put him down before then. Wilder, he just knocked him out once. AJ TKO round 7. So he has been beat, but he has beaten a canny few people as well. He's 20-2, which isn't bad. But could you see a bit of ring rust? He hasn't fought since the 18th of May 2019. So that's year and 9 months.
Was Wilder his last fight?
Yeah, Wilder was his last fight. Otto Wallin's had something in between just to scrape off the ring rust on 15th of August 2020, so he's only been out for 7 months.
For me, from Otto Wallin's side, I think he's got to look at it and look at what Wilder done, look at what Joshua done, and he's got to believe he can do the same.
Exactly.
He's been slightly more active. Within since Breazeale's last fight, he's had the fight with Fury, which, whether he thought he won or not, I'm not.
He got outboxed, but I've never seen someone rough Tyson up that much except Wilder won. But for me, I can say this on behalf of both of us, we're little fans of Otto Wallin. We don't mind him, he's a good fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got that rough side that you need as a boxer as well. I mean, people say what they want about Otto Wallin scratching at the Fury's cup, but
how else was he planning on beating him? Come on, what would you do if you hurt Fury?
Go for it or shit myself and think he's going to get me back.
Exactly, you've got to go for it. There is a 1 inch height difference. So the two big lads, let's be honest, they're not the fastest. It's going to be a proper slugfest, and I do look forward to it.
And I think you might see it late. I don't think you'll see an early stoppage. I think you'll see.
No, definitely not.
I think they've both got good art. I think they'll both go for it, and you'll see either a 12-round slugfest, or you'll see a stoppage in the last half of the fight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's going to be a cracking fight. Everyone, I'd recommend turn this on. We are just selling boxing to everyone at the minute, but it will be a good fight. Trust us. And I can see him winning, to be honest. So
yeah, for me, you look at it as well, and Otto Wallin. Would you say it's his biggest, apart from the Fury fight? Would you say this?
Yes, this is his biggest chance. Yeah, I think that's.
Would you say there could be the worry that he's got the freezing occasion, or because he went in with Fury in front of the fans and he didn't freeze?
Yeah, I don't think he'll freeze against Breazeale. I think he will beat him, but I think this is a brilliant fight for both of them, to be honest.
I think this is really going to show how good Wallin is. It's
exactly.
He caught Fury on an off night where he was really good, or it's just the case is
he just bang average, really or is he just really, really good and impressive, and everyone slept on him a bit?
I think
we will find out, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, I think he's been cut before Wallin as well, hasn't he?
No, he's never actually been. I don't know if he's been cut before, but he did cut someone and he got a no contest for it. So he's known for being a bit of a rough.
I've seen a picture of him with blood down his. I might be wrong.
Okay.
I might be wrong.
But he's a
Either way, it
rough one,
must
I'll
have been
tell
a
you
while
all
ago.
that. He
Where
wants to
but
rough people off, and I think someone like breazeale, I really think he can get to him, and I think he can.
yeah, Otto Wallin. I mean, it was a slim Fury. It was a light Fury, but would you say Wallin proves that he can take a bang as well?
Yeah, he can, and I think he's a hard fighter, and I think he's definitely in that. I think this will prove he's in that top 25 of the heavyweights.
Yes.
Now, some might say that's nothing, but
yeah, he has been cut. Or I think he had been cut on the side of his head. I've just seen it on his Insta there.
Ah, right, okay.
So he's took damage before and carried on going.
Very correct. But for me, I think he's a good fighter, to be honest.
Yeah.
For me, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, and I'm not even legally aged to bet, so I don't know why I said that. But
for me as well, one more thing.
I'd bet on
I think Wallin has got to look at it as he, in some people's opinions, beat or almost beat the man who beat the man who beat Breazeale. So
right.
Wallin's got to take that confidence in.
Wallin did more to Fury, who is better than Wilder, than breazeale did to Wilder, who's worse than Fury.
Yeah. So for me, I think you're going Wallin.
Yeah, I'm going Wallin. I'm gonna go.
Eddie Hearn's gone Breazeale.
Yeah, but is Eddie Hearn a credible source? He thinks AJ's gonna. We don't always have to agree with Eddie Hearn, but for me.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm just like actually just.
Yeah, I know.
I think
just stating his opinion, but I think
I'm gonna say.
Either late or points.
It's a tough one to call, and I think this is why I'm so excited to see who wins. But I think Wallin. I'm gonna go Wallin. I think he's got a real feel-good factor about himself at the minute as well. After that.
Exactly.
Purely.
He was 20-0, got a no contest, lost to Fury, which would not derail anyone's confidence, and he also went 12 rounds with Fury. Then he goes and wins again. Breazeale, I'll read his record out. He was Breazeale was 17-0, lost to Joshua, won 3 on the bounce, then lost to Wilder, and he's been inactive since. I think that Wilder thing, he had to take some time out just to make sure there was no actual damage. So, for me, I'm going Otto Wallin, either points or late.
I'm going to go Otto Wallin to win it in... I think, if you had to give a prediction, I'd go Otto Wallin to win a tough decision. If not, I'd go Otto Wallin to stop it in about round 10ish.
Alright,
I'm not sure how much... Is it a 12 round or a 10 round
12 round, mate.
I think it'd be a Wallin and we'll finish it between round 10 and the distance.
Yeah, that's what I must agree with that. Anyway, everyone, this was the first episode of the Boxing Breakdown. Hope you all enjoyed. Drop a sub. We will be hopefully getting some guests on the future. I can't give too much away, can we, Joe?
We're not going to name any.
We don't name names, but if it does come through, oh my god.
Maybe you'll think, let's see what these guys are about, watch this episode and think it's shit and we'll never hear from him again, but...
Exactly, but we're going to be keeping this going. We're looking for consistency. Anyway,
yes.
Thank you, everyone.
I mean, we went through the... If it was going to end, it would have ended today.
It would have ended today. We've tried this 3 times. Just trust us. We're going to be staying here, especially for the easy times. We've gone through the tough times to start. So thank you, everyone, from me and my co-host.
In a bit.
Thank you very much, and I'll catch you all in a bit.